Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 27, Text 28. Maya nirupitastubhyam patiratma samadhina nabhinandati lokoyam tvama bhadrama sammatam. Does the screen look all right? Maya, by me, nirupitah, settled, tubhyam, for you, patih, husband, atma, of the mind, samadhina, by meditation, na, never, abhinandati, welcome, lokah, the people, ayam, these, tvam, you, abhadram, inauspicious, asammatam, unacceptable. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: The king of the Yavanas replied, "After much consideration, I have arrived at a husband for you. Actually, as far as everyone is concerned, you are inauspicious and mischievous. Since no one likes you, how can anyone accept you as his wife?" Please repeat. The king of the Yavanas replied, "After much consideration, I have arrived at a husband for you. Actually, as far as everyone is concerned, you are inauspicious and mischievous. Since no one likes you, how can anyone accept you as his wife?" Purport: After much consideration, the king of the Yavanas decided to make the best use of a bad bargain. Kalakanya was a bad bargain and no one liked her, but everything can be used for the service of the Lord. Thus the king of the Yavanas tried to utilize her for some purpose. The purpose has already been explained, that is, Kalakanya is Jara, the invalidity of old age. Kalakanya as Jara, the invalidity of old age, can be used to arouse a sense of fear in people so that they will prepare for the next life by engaging in Krishna consciousness. We'll read the 29 also. Tvam avyakta gatir lokam karma vinirmitam yahi me pritana yukta prajanasham praneshyasi. Translation: This world is a product of fruitive activities. Therefore, you may imperceptibly attack people in general. Helped by my soldiers, you can kill them without opposition. Purport: The word karma vinirmitam means manufactured by fruitive activities. This entire material world, especially in these days, is the result of fruitive activities. Everyone is fully engaged in decorating the world with highways, motor cars, electricity, skyscrapers, industries, businesses, etc. All this appears very nice for those who are simply engaged in sense gratification and who are ignorant of spiritual identity. As described in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.4, Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma yadindriya pretaya apranoti na sadhu manye yata atmanoyam asannapi kleshada asadeha. Those without knowledge of the spirit soul are mad after materialistic activities and they perform all kinds of sinful activities simply for sense gratification. According to Rishabhdev, such activities are inauspicious because they force one to accept an abominable body in the next life. Everyone can experience that although we try to keep the body in a comfortable position, it is always giving pain and is subjected to the threefold miseries. Otherwise, why are there so many hospitals, welfare boards and insurance establishments? Actually, in this world there is no happiness. People are simply engaged to trying to See, people are simply engaged trying to counteract unhappiness. Foolish people accept unhappiness as happiness. Therefore, the king of the Yavanas decided to attack such foolish people imperceptibly by old age, disease, and ultimately death. Of course, after death, there must be birth. Therefore, Yavanaraj thought it wise to kill all the karmis through the agency of Kalakanya and thus try to make them aware that materialistic advancement is not actually advancement. Every living entity is a spiritual being, and consequently, without spiritual advancement, the human form of life is ruined. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So yesterday we have heard from Sundar Gopal Prabhu's class how old age attacks everyone. So Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. This is Dukkha Doshanudarshanam, as we have seen in the Bhagavad Gita. Where? Which chapter and which verse? Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanudarshanam. Very common verse, very often quoted shloka. Which number? 13.9. So 13.8 through 12 are all the symptoms of knowledge. You see? Amanitvam, Madambhitvam, Mahimsa, Kshantirarjavam, Acharyopasanam, Shaucham, Sthiryam, Atmavinigraha, Indriyartheshu Vairagyam, Anahankara evacha, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanudarshanam, Asaktir Anabhishvangah, Putradara Grahadishu, Nityam cha Samachittatvam, Ishtanishtopapatishu. मयि चानन्य योगेन भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी विविक्तदेश सेवित्वम् अरतिर्जनसंसदि अध्यात्मज्ञान नित्यत्वं तत्त्वज्ञानार्थ दर्शनम् एतज्ज्ञानम् इति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यद् अतोऽन्यथा. See, Krishna is listing down all the symptoms of knowledge: humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home and the rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be, is ignorance. So, in other words, to have this, what is that? The perception of evil of birth, death, old age and disease. This is a symptom of knowledge. The perception of evil of birth, death, old age and disease is a symptom of knowledge. That means a person who is ignorant cannot even see that birth, death, old age and disease are problems of life. He tries to just brush aside these problems by constructing hospitals and making business out of it. Nowadays there is one hospital here in, I think, Little India area. So the very expensive hospital, and besides that, a nice hotel, so that overseas people can come and stay there comfortably, and their relatives, undergo treatment. So very expensive facilities, and they're making business out of it. And the more hospitals they open, they think it is a charitable work. But we should understand that by opening more hospitals, that means more and more people are getting sick. That is the indication. By more hospitals means it indicates that more and more people are getting sick. That means it's not a good sign. If more people are healthy, there is no need of a hospital. Of course, it's not that there is no need of hospital. Hospital is needed because that is the miseries of this world. But serious diseases, there's another thing. And birth, actually you can see in the hospital, all the four miseries are visible: birth, death, old age, disease. In a hospital is like a concentrated material world. All four miseries, because other places they hide it. Old age home is there. So the people suffering from old age home, they are quarantined there. The general mass of people, all people whom they see, young people, all masti, in Hindi they say masti, just simply enjoy life, party, central business district and all full of money, skyscrapers, beautiful skyline, partying clubs. Old age home will be somewhere corner hiding. So the misery is they try to hide away. And they try to paint a nice picture of this material world. But if you go to the hospital, then we will see all the four. Birth is there, death is there, old age is there, disease is there. All sufferings. But still, you see, the Maya is so powerful that the doctor who is operating also, he also thinks he is doing he is enjoying life. He is having good fat salary. Every day he is seeing birth, death, old age and disease. But he has no sense of thing. I will also one day, of course everybody knows we will die. But they think it is somewhere in the distant future. No, not now. When it comes that time, let's see. Why should we be scared from now on? Let's enjoy now. So in this way, everybody is ignorant, even though educated. In fact, in all these symptoms, humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, none of these symptoms are visible in the modern education. Modern educated person has none of these symptoms, not even a single one. Not even a single one. That means, and Krishna is saying in the last part of this, all these are declared to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. So these things, if they are visible, that is knowledge. But these things are not visible in modern education system, modern society. The same fear, the same miseries that the animals are going through, the humans are also going through same thing. Nothing different. So that is actually a sign of ignorance. So Kali Yuga is full of such ignorant people. But here it is said that Kalakanya, which is Jara, Kala means time, Kanya means daughter, daughter of time, is old age. Because time will just move on, but as time goes on, the old age takes birth in us. So that's why it is said like, Kanya, daughter. But it's a very unpleasant person. That's why it is said Nabhinandati. One second. You see, Nabhinandati. That means nobody is happy with that. Loko, yam. In this world, nobody is happy with this old age. Not only human beings, even animals also. Nobody likes becoming old. That's why there is cosmetics industries, making so much makeup and everything. Why there is $1 billion in the industry? So nobody likes to grow old. And it is a good thing that nobody likes to grow old. Because by the nature, the soul is young. Navayauvanam. So that is the natural tendency. But the problem is we are trying to make the body young, and that is not possible. Because we are misidentifying with the body, therefore the cosmetics industry is flourishing. Because we are misidentifying with the body. If one understands that one is the body, he will not be bewildered by the change of the body and into old age. In fact, as today it is said, such knowledge will become an impetus for spiritual life. As Prabhu also was explaining yesterday. When one becomes old, just like the history of Bharat Maharaj, little bit he saw some grey hair. Oh, it's time for me to renounce. Renounced. Kingdom, everything renounced and went to the forest. So, grey hair, not that he died and make it disappear, okay, black only, nice. Not covering it up. Nowadays we see old people, especially actors, you will see. I think that Rajinikanth is still going on as hero. Dancing with girls who are fit to be his great granddaughter. Still, and he still looks same black hair and everything. He must be almost reaching 70 now. He is still dancing around with girls of 20 years old. They try to hide. Oh, he is still action superhero as he was in his 20s, now in his 70s, still going on. So, this is the thing. They just try to hide. But hiding will not remove the fact. Just by making ourselves of some facelift or hair dye or hair transplant, whatever it is, that does not change the body from becoming old. So one day death will come, old age is coming and death will. So better we take them as impetuses. So for a devotee, for a materialist, that's a depressing situation. That's why he tries to hide it and tries to stay motivated. But for a spiritual person, it is a impetus. Anything that goes seemingly wrong in the material sense is actually a very good blessing in the spiritual sense. When one becomes devoid of money, that is a impetus. Okay, Krishna is teaching me not to be involved with anything. Okay, just like Prabhupada, his business, he lost his business. So he got cheated by his manager. So he took it as a blessing. Oh, Krishna wants me to go away from this and preach. So that is one thing. So, and when some family member is very, upsetting and not cooperative in one's spiritual life, such a situation also becomes an impetus for further advancement. Like Srila Prabhupada, he moved out of the house when wife was not cooperative. In fact, he said when his mother passed away, he was 14 years old. He felt a great relief. Because the mother was always asking him to go and study, become a barrister in London. And Prabhupada's father did not want him to become such. He said, I don't want my son to become Lecha. But the mother was always forcing. Mother was very strict about his education, material education. His father was not. His father was very cool. So, when mother passed away, Prabhupada said, he felt a relief. So, I don't think we will want to leave that kind of legacy. So, we should, support the dependence. Of course, Prabhupada's mother is Prabhupada's mother, she will get liberated. But he is teaching us, like even those unfavorable circumstances or seemingly favorable circumstances, mother is pushing him for studies. Oh, that's good, yes. But actually, spiritually, it's an unfavorable circumstance. So, it's quite opposite of the definitions of what people give to things. Because the aim is not correct. Because their aim is in the wrong direction. And if everything that goes in that direction, they think that is correct. Because their aim is, they are looking at that side. But one who looks at Krishna as the aim, for him these are actually impediments. And whatever are impediments for the materialists will become, actual progressive steps for the spiritualists. Like a springboard. Like, what's a springboard, right? When they swim, when they dive into the water, swimming, they have this board, they jump and then they do all this somersault. So what is that jumping? What is a springboard? It goes down first and then it shoots up. So the so-called downs of this material world are like that. They're actually impetuses for growth. But if you don't take it as such, like a trained gymnast, when he goes down, he knows how to maximize that force to jump up. But if we jump on something which is going down, we get we expect some firm ground, and if something goes down, we don't know how to take advantage of it. So a trained person in spiritual life, he knows how to handle these situations and use them for his own advantage, even old age and death. Death also can be used in Krishna's service, because death is a reminder. Yes, everything is going to go, so don't waste time. Because any investor would want some return on his investment. And if the investment is definite, if return is definitely going to be zero, why should we invest in that direction? Whatever we achieve is going to be lost. So why should we waste time in such endeavor? So that should be the thought process. So in that way, we can use the death as an impetus for because there is a deadline now. Only when there are deadlines we will work now. When there is no deadline, nobody works. So deadline is there. Actually, we will become dead. So by that time, this deadline came from there only, because real deadline is that when we actually become dead. All these other deadlines are just mock, because we won't die at that time. So by that time, we have to make the best use of this human life. As we have seen, I think yesterday evening I shared one verse, I think Prabhu actually shared it yesterday morning. You saw that verse? Yesterday you were there? We should be, this is 11:20:16 of Srimad Bhagavatam. See, here it is said, Ahoratrais chidyamanam buddhvayur bhayavepathuho mukta sangah param buddhva niriha upashamyati. Knowing that one's duration of life is being similarly cut down by the passing of days and nights, one should be shaken by fear. In this way, giving up all material attachment and desire, one understands the Supreme Lord and achieves perfect peace. One should be shaken by fear, not just fear, shaken. Because, especially for a materialist, actually this is good for both. For the materialist, he should understand that, all this is going to be finished, it's going to be robbed from me. Mrityu sarva haraschaham. Krishna is saying. Where did he say? Mrityu sarva haraschaham. 10th chapter 32nd verse. Right? Or is it 10:34? Let's see. Yeah, 10:34. Mrityuh sarvaharaschaham. I am all devouring death, and I take away everything. Sarvaharas. Sarvahara means I will take away everything. Not even a single thing will remain. Sarvahara cha aham. So if we are being robbed, if there is some thief coming, you will be shaken by fear. Right? A thief is coming, to attack. You will be shaken by fear. And if the thief is coming nearer, will we carry more and more gold on us? Thief is coming, let me put some golden necklace also, golden anklets also. Would we do that? No. So death is coming. Who is a thief? Who is going to steal away everything? Will we put more and more bangles, more and more necklace, more and more crowns and earrings, silk dress? You will not. You will attract the thief more only. And after the thief is definitely going to come and he will steal everything. The more we have, the more we lose, and the more we lose, the more we cry. So rather, if we don't have anything on us, when the thief comes, what he will take? What he will take? Nothing. And that's why devotee is called, Akinchana or Nishkinchana. akinchana gocharam. Kunti Devi is saying, Krishna is the property of those who are akinchana gocharam, those who have nothing materially, they have no material possessions. What does that mean? That means they don't have the sense of proprietorship. They may deal with material things, but they use it in the service of the Lord. They don't own, or they don't think they own anything. So nirmama nirahankara. So that kind of people, the devotees, death cannot take anything away from them. In fact, because they are eternal, the body will be taken away anyway. But because the soul, the self-realized soul, is not attached to such a body, he loses nothing. There is this story of allegorical story of this burning house. I think we put it in a magazine many years ago. One article, small article, burning house. What is that? This man, elderly man, he had two houses. So one he was living in, another was just there lying. So he was thinking of selling, but then it was big mansion, so it was very expensive house. So just when he was thinking of selling, he had 3 sons, grown up sons. So just as he was thinking, when he was going to sell, he heard the news, the house on fire, blazing fire. Oh, he was crying and crying. Oh, what a loss, everything is lost now. So he was crying like this. Then just then the first son came and said, don't worry, I have already sold this house. Just yesterday I had a meeting with that new prospective buyer. He agreed. Oh wow, okay, then he felt relief. Then second son came and said, don't be so happy, that guy only agreed, he did not sign any papers. Oh, again he went misery. Then the third son came and said, no, he is a man of his word. If he tells once, his word is enough. He is such a, even burnt house also he will buy. I don't know who will buy a burnt house, but just to show, when he said that, then he again felt relief. Okay, at least maybe he will buy the property or something, at least I have. Now the event is the same thing. Sorry. The event is the same thing. The burning house did not change. Not that suddenly the house became nice or house became burned again nice. No. But according to the attachment of the person, his misery or relief was felt. So actually our misery is not because of the event itself, because the event was the same thing going on, the house was burning like that only. But this man's misery and relief, he was feeling this because of the attachment. When he thinks it is his, the misery is so much. When he thinks it is already so, okay, fine, done. So how much we are detached, that much less we will feel the misery. The more we are attached, when we are attached, it looks all nice. Oh, nice. But when we lose that, the misery also will be very nice. If we are enjoying one thing, we have to prepare for the other thing also. As they say, if a person makes fun of somebody, he should be ready to made fun of also. If he gets angry when he is made fun of, he has no right to make fun of others. Of course, nobody has right to make fun of others, but comedians, they usually do that. Even kings, sometimes they employ this kind of court jesters. So to make everybody laugh, bring about a lighter atmosphere. So sometimes this jester, he will mock at the king also. He will mock the king. He will make fun of the king. And the king takes it as a joke. And then king also, jokes back at the jester. And if the jester cannot take it, or the king cannot take it, it will not be nice. The whole thing will become a war. So in other words, when we are attached to something, then we have to be prepared that will get misery also with that. So, the best way is not to be attached. In that way, death cannot take anything away from us. In fact, old age and death become even more. That's why sannyas. Panchashordham vanam vrajet. Once one reaches 50 plus, one has to start thinking about going to the forest. Take sannyas. Why? But that will actually, Prabhuji, sit down. So that is the impetus for the person. Because anyway, now it's done, okay, 50 years have passed, now better get serious. Actually, of course, we must get serious at 5 years old. But then again, the force of youth is very strong. Therefore, one is allowed to go into family life. But then, eventually, we must understand that this is not going to be the platform of happiness, everlasting happiness. They say happily ever after. They got married and they happily ever after. Where is such a story? I want to see. Where is such a story? It is only possible with Krishna and his 16,108 queens. That is possible. In the spiritual world, Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasambrama Sevyamanam, that is possible. If you want to be happy ever after, we have to be with Krishna. If you want to be happily situated here, once you get married and happily never after. That is the actual truth. Because why one has to work hard? We may think that is, home sweet home, but for that home we have to work hard day and night. There is rush hour, there is scoldings from the boss, there is scolding from the customer. So many problems we have to go through. Just to what? Maintain the situation, maintain the status quo, vittam. So, in other words, unless we are detached from this, we cannot come out of this. It's not possible immediately to detach everything and come out. Therefore, there is, the whole thing is about being aware of the situation and doing our best given our current situation and progress. We should try to make our family members as devotees and contribute some of our earnings to Krishna and engage our time as much as possible in Krishna service, not be attached to that's why Prabhupada said even Grahasthas morning and evening, every morning and evening, you must come to temple and take darshan, attend arati, associate with devotees, attend the classes. This should be then it will be very, very safe spiritually. Otherwise, we are very unsafe, a dangerous position. So, these kinds of so-called discouragements, we have to make use of them. And to be able to do that, one has to be educated in knowledge. It will not come at that time. When somebody becomes old, at that time you cannot preach to him, good that you became old. Now you understand that you have to, what are you telling? Nonsense. He will get angry because he is not trained to think that way. So, to be able to think that way at old age, you have to be starting now. Now we have to start. So, when the old age comes, then we are anticipating, we are prepared, well prepared. Even then it will not be so easy, even with full preparation. So, just imagine if we are not at all, we never heard this. That's why they say, I am 70 years young. What young you are? Come on. Old age has come and everything. What young? Young. They proudly say, 80 years young. They still want to be, as if they are hero, Rajnikant. They see some Rajnikant on the screen and they think I am also same. I can also dance. So, body doesn't allow. Of course, the soul wants to dance. There is Rasalila. The soul always wants to dance. But with Krishna, it is possible to always dance. But with his body, unfortunately, Prabhupada said, he was going up the staircase, and he stopped. He turned to his disciples and said, these staircase, if I was a young boy, I would run up these staircase. And now also the same feeling is there that I want to run up these stairs, but I can't do it. But this old body does not allow. He is showing that Why I do have that desire? Because I as a soul am the same person. I did not change. But my body is different now. So he is teaching us by staircase that the body and soul are different. How is it? different angles. Because I am the same person, I am having the same feeling. But the body is not allowing in the same way. I could act on my feelings immediately when I was a child, now no. So, body is different, changing bodies. So, what is that? Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara prapte. So, the soul is eternal, the body is temporary. He is showing by staircase. How Prabhupada is instructing us. So, everywhere, how he sees Krishna link with everything, all the Shastra, and how he is teaching us. So, in this way, everything is impetus. Oh, when I cannot run up the staircase, I must know, I must prepare for Hare Krishna, I must chant more Hare Krishna. I cannot run up the stairs, better chant Hare Krishna. No, nowadays they know. I must get in shape. I will get back in shape. Let me be like my 20s. Of course, little exercise is good, just walking. Walking, Prabhupada said, enough. Exercise, enough. Brisk walking is enough. Enough exercise for human body. We are not meant to become like tigers, strong muscles, and they have to tear open bison, they have to tear open elephants. They have that kind of job. So they need that muscle. What are we going to do with those muscles? What are we going to do? Type computer. what are we going to type? We are not going to do much with those muscles. Unless we were, a hunter or, some aborigine or some tribe fight. Yeah. But why should we waste time in that direction? Minimum exercise, yes. Walking, brisk walking, put Hare Krishna or put, what is the Prabhupada lecture? Walk. Good walk. Good mental exercise, spiritual exercise, material exercise will get done in one shot. And then rest of the time, just, if you really want real cardio, dance kirtan. Nicely jump, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. There's enough exercise there. So, our movement has everything. There's no need of extraneous, other exercise. So, we should develop that thing which is innate or special in human beings, our God consciousness. So whenever we see things, I cannot run up the stairs, instead of getting depressed, this is time to chant more Hare Krishna, I am closing, the death is coming closer. And shaken by fear, this is shaken by fear. Shaken by fear, the materialist will get shaken by fear in one way, that my possessions are going to be destroyed. So that fear will help him. It's not that we will be paranoid with fear and then become a mental case. No, we use that fear, understand, I should not endeavor too much in this direction, it's not worth it. For the spiritualist, the fear is that he must become more serious in spiritual life, because the window of human life, we have a few years only. After that, there is no guarantee whether we get human life or not. I can become anything. No. Prabhupada said, once you start Hare Krishna, you will get human life only. Then why did Bharat Maharaj become deer? Also is possible, no? Because he also was, very great devotee. But then he became deer. So that possibility is also there. If you are inattentive, then that possibility is also there. Of course, mostly it can be human being, but what will be our mental situation at the time of death? So, better we prepare. With this window of time is there, Turnam yateta napated anumrityu yavan. Quickly, before this body has fallen down, the body is going to fall down and die. Before it has fallen down and died, make the best use. Like, Ghatotkach in Mahabharata. Ghatotkach, Bhima's son. So, he was fighting valiantly. And Karna finally released his Shakti weapon, Shakti arrow. And he chanted this Shakti mantra and then shot. And Ghatotkach, it hit him. He was going to die. Matter of seconds. So what he did? Expanded his body, as big as possible. so that when he fell, he killed about one Akshauhini. You know, 109,000 infantrymen, some 21,870 elephants, 21,870 horses, some 65,000 something chariots, something all one shot. As he died, he killed those also. So before he died, he made some use of his whatever remaining time is there. Few seconds also, never mind. Let's make some use of it. He expanded. So of course that is for that purpose. That is also a service for Krishna, right? So we also do not know how much time is there. Maybe we have a little more, maybe we have lesser than that. But whatever we have, expand our devotional activities. We cannot expand like Ghatotkacha, but we can actually at least expand our time that we are using. Instead of material activities, we can engage in spiritual activities, and before it dies, best use, because whatever this golden opportunity, this human life, gotten after trillions of years of evolution, and after we lose this, if we go into animal species, it's going to be another millions of years. This window of whatever few decades we have is a golden chance to escape. So before it goes out beyond our control, we have to make the best use. So that is another shaken by fear. I have this opportunity and let me not lose it. Let me use it. So in this way, this purport is given. Nabhinandati. Nobody likes it, but the devotee will make good use of it. And imperceptibly attack. This is very nice. What is the Sanskrit word for that? Praneshasi. Imperceptible. Avyaktagati. Wow, this is very nice. Avyaktagati. Time imperceptibly passes. We don't see. We don't see ourselves. When somebody sees us after 5 years, 10 years, they will say, "Oh, you have changed. You have become fat, thin, tall, short, whatever." Short, I don't think so. Tall. So when such a span of time passes, they see the difference. But every second, actually, our body is changing, and cumulatively there is some visibility in the change. But every second we are seeing ourselves, so we do not see the change. That is imperceptible. We cannot perceive. Actually, avyaktagati, bhungshva. See, there is another verse of this imperceptible. Oh, insurmountable death. There is another. Hmm. 1:13:17. Insurmountable eternal time imperceptibly overcomes those who are insanely attached to family affairs and are always engrossed in their thought. But for the devotee, time does not have any effect. This is today's verse. This is tomorrow's verse. You see, 7:6:14. Kutumba poshaya viyanijayur nabuddhyatertham vihatam pramattah sarvatra tapatraya dukkhitatma nirvidyatena svakutumba ramah. One who is too attached cannot understand that he is wasting his valuable life for the maintenance of his family. He also fails to understand that the purpose of human life, a life suitable for realization of the absolute truth, is being imperceptibly spoiled. However, he is very cleverly attentive to seeing that not a single farthing is lost by mismanagement. Thus, although an attached person in material existence always suffers from threefold miseries, he does not develop a distaste for the way of material existence. This is ignorance. A person in ignorance, he cannot develop a distaste for the way of material existence, although he suffers. That is explained in the other verse, 3.30.9. गृहेषु कूटधर्मेषु दुःखतन्त्रे स्वतन्त्रितः कुर्वन् दुःखप्रतीकारं सुखवन्मन्यते गृही. The attached householder remains in his family life, which is full of diplomacy, politics, and constantly spreading miseries. Restricted in his acts of sense gratification, he acts just to counteract his miseries, and if he can successfully counteract such miseries, he thinks that he is happy. This is the definition of so-called happiness. It's called Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahato Vimudhan. So the best way is to become devotee. Then only our time is not eating up our life. आयुर्हरति वैपुंसाम् उद्यन्नस्तं चयन्नसौ तस्यर्थे यत्क्षणो नीत उत्तम श्लोकवार्तया. Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. Materialists will take photo, oh, sunrise, beautiful sunset. Beautifully, the life is being robbed away from us. Beautifully. When Parikshit Maharaj went to the bank of the Ganga, he did not observe, wow, beautiful sunset, beautiful. He just heard Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami. We think we are enjoying sun. They say it's a golden hour, especially photographers. Those who are photographers, they will know. They call the sunrise and the sunset as the golden hour because everything looks very nice in that light. Because when the sun is harsh, the shadows are harsh, it doesn't look as nice. But when the sun is just in the horizon, everything looks very flattered. So they try to enjoy these things, but actually Maya distracts us. So look at this beautiful sunrise. In the meantime, I will rob you of your lifetime. That is, a magician also does the same thing. No? He distracts you with something and he does something else here, and we cannot see. And we pay him to do that, to cheat us. So we are also enjoying this material world, but Maya is magic, Krishna's magic, distracting us on one side, behind everything is being robbed. We are being robbed. But the devotee, he all the time he just hears and chants about Krishna, serves Krishna, so he is not losing anything, because whatever he is gaining, whatever he is doing, the credit is going into his eternal bank balance. That is explained. We know that we came here naked, we go naked, we don't take anything, but we take something actually. Annam hi praninam prana artanam sharanam tvaham dharmo vittam nirnam pretya santorvag bibhyatoranam. Just as food is the life of all creatures, just as I am the ultimate shelter for the distress, and just as religion is the wealth of those who are passing away from this world. So my devotees are the only refuge of persons fearful of falling into a miserable condition of life. So religion is the wealth of those passing away from this world. So that is our wealth. We take something actually from here, and that is our religion, our dharma. If we don't take dharma, we will take our karma. Either we have black money or white money. Which one we want? Black money will get us into prison house, white money we will enjoy with Krishna. So any questions or comments on this topic? Knowledge and realization.
So, you struggle a lot to explain a person that yes, the impending miseries are there with them, like birth, old age, they also identify those problems. But a person who has been into Krishna consciousness or a person who is practicing devotional service, he has that knowledge and speaks to his realization. But the other person is not able to do so because he just has the knowledge as facts, but not able to do anything about it, and just considers very ignorant about it, although he knows about it. So, how do you pay the gap between knowledge and realization? Is there any shastric evidence which gives insight to these two aspects or joins these two aspects?
So the thing is, okay, next let's look at two verses. So knowledge and realization. So for those who are online, the question is that a person, a devotee, has knowledge that there is birth, death, old age, and disease, and who is not a devotee, he also knows there is birth, death, old age, and disease. But a devotee has realization that these are miserable conditions, whereas the materialist, he is not aware of such miserable conditions. There is no realization that these are actually miserable conditions. He just accepts that these are conditions of life. So how to convey, how to make them understand? So firstly, let's see why they don't understand. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.1.4 Dehapatyakalatrādishu atmasainyeshvasatsvapi tesham pramatto nidhanam pashyan api na pashyati. Pashyan api na pashyati. So pashyan means to see, na pashyati means cannot see. Even seeing they cannot see. So translation: persons devoid of Atma Tattva do not inquire into the problems of life, being too attached to the fallible soldiers like the body, children, and wife. Although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see their inevitable destruction. See? They are sufficiently experienced. They know that their great-grandfather, their great-great-grandfather, nobody survived. The grandfather maybe died or maybe going to die. Father is on the line. So that means I am also on the line. So, but he thinks, I will somehow escape. Somehow, maybe it will come, but that is irrelevant. Let me just live now. That's why they say, live in the present. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about your past. Just live in the present. That is what animal does. Animal does that. But human life, we are supposed to. Otherwise, we cannot act anything in the present if we have no plan. We only act according to our plans. So anyway, that is the ignorant way of life. Now, they see all these things happening, but they still cannot see because of the Maya. Another verse. Ahanyahani bhutani gachanti hayamalayam sesha sthavaramicchanti kimascharya matah param. Hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment, but a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world. So why? Because for the materialist, death, disease, old age, these are distractions from his aim of sense gratification. These are things that will demoralize him or will distract him from. So when he gets sick, he will just take some medicine and get back on track and on his path to his materialistic aim. Death, well, that's everybody knows it, so just hide it in the closet. It comes anyway, it comes, death, everybody has to wait. In the meantime, just enjoy life. No, why you worry about that? After death, everything is finished. They don't have the knowledge of. So they try to hide these things as if these are just one-off events. Death will come at that time. That one event, 1 second that will happen. Let that happen. Until then, I will enjoy. Why I should suffer from now? Only suffer one second. Let it go that side. At that time. Now let me enjoy. Why? It's irrelevant to talk about death. They think like this. It's irrelevant. Because it will come anyway. And when it comes, it comes. After that, it is finished. But now let me do something. So disease is similarly a distraction for them. Death, old age is also a distraction. Somehow stem cell research, some facelift or some exercise, some fitness, all these things. So that I have to again push it aside as much as possible so that my sense gratification is not disturbed. Whereas devotee understands that the soul is different. So he also actually has the same goals. He also doesn't want to die. He also doesn't like death. Nobody likes death. But he knows how to actually, what is actually happening. Why when we don't like death, why we are combating death? Why this comes, why this? Nobody likes to die, but everybody must die. How come there is a situation like this? They don't question. They don't stop to question. Because and they think that anyway there is no answer to it, just enjoy life. So, they treat it as a distraction and try to hide it away. Whereas devotees know that these are principal miseries of life and they are there for a reason, and we can learn from something from that. He faces them head on. He is not a coward, he faces them head on. So, he knows, okay, these are actually the body's stages, and I as a soul am passing through these stages. So, because first of all there is knowledge. Now, you can look at yesterday in the class also I was telling the same thing. Two people can look at the same thing. One people, they will see totally different ways. Like this example of the ship, the engineer. You know the story? Yeah. Yesterday, you were there yesterday.
I saw that.
So, the ship, one ship, broke down, was not moving. All kinds of technicians, engineers, everybody was, full, everything they were trying in their capacity. The ship just does not move. Then they will get idea, hey, this one person is there, he is the expert in this, let's bring him. So, he comes, he sees, okay, ship is not moving. Then he moves something, suddenly ship starts moving. Then they will say, oh wow, thank you very much, great job, shake hand, everything. How much is your fees? $10,000. Come on, what is this? You just move something, what, $10,000? And you say, yeah, $2 for moving the thing, 9,998 for knowing what to move. That experience, that knowledge that I have gotten, that is worth that much. That's why none of you could figure it out, whereas I figured it out in 2 seconds. So, the knowledge, that's just like I gave the example yesterday, same thing actually. If I drive a car, if it breaks down, if I open the bonnet, I don't know what is going on. I don't know what's wrong, what is right. When the car is all right or when the car is not all right, when I open the bonnet, it's same for me. It doesn't change. I don't understand. I know how to drive, I don't know how it works. But if a technician comes, he opens, he understands, oh, what is wrong. In fact, he doesn't even sometimes need to open the bonnet. He sees the sound, okay, understands what is wrong. He just does whatever is needed, immediately done. He will charge you some $100, $200, what $100, you just did something. Then you could have done it. So, the thing is, the technician and the layman is looking at the same thing, but the knowledge of it is different. Because of their knowledge, they know what is going on, this person doesn't know what is going on. So, everybody is looking at death, everybody is looking at birth, everybody is looking at old age, disease, but they don't know what is going on. That's why they try to, it's not there. Where is death? Just let me enjoy. Old age home this side, hospital this side, let me enjoy the party club. Everything hide away, everything in their own silos. So, that's what the materialist is trying to do. Spiritualist, he knows what is happening. He is not afraid. If I am left, stranded on a highway with a broken down car, I will be, what to do, I will fully panic. So, materialist, when actually it comes, when the death comes, when the old age, he will panic. Until then, he will just be like the goat who will be in the line for slaughter, but he is happily eating grass, enjoying grass, chewing this side, chewing that side, chewing this side, chewing that side. But in the next moment, he is going to be slaughtered. That he does not see. Every goat is being slaughtered, that also he does not see. Still, he is going same line. In Telugu, he is a Gorel Manda. So, like that. So, we cannot be like goat. Now, they have a new terminology for goat. GOAT. Greatest of all time. They have some videos like that. Some iconic movie actor or sports person. Oh, he is a goat. But actually, they are goats. Because they are going nowhere. They are just going blindly. Thinking that I am a big goat. But what? A goat only, being slaughtered. So, like that. So, they see the same thing, but they don't have knowledge. So that knowledge has to be there. First of all, what? Who are you? Why? Okay, yeah, death is there. Okay, let's don't hide it. Let's talk about it. Why are you not talking about it? Are you afraid? It seems like you're afraid. That's why you're not talking about it. If you're not afraid, just let's talk about it now. Okay, if you're talking about it, then the question should be that why everybody does not like to die and why everybody must die. Why there can't be a single exception to this rule? Why it is happening like that? Then starts. Oh, there are two different things. The reason we don't like to die is because we don't actually die. Our tendency is not to die. But we all die because our body dies. So then when we understand these two different things, because we have amalgamated into one, we cannot explain the contradiction. Why on one side we don't like it and why it always happens without fail. We don't want it at all. Nobody wants it. But without fail it will happen. Why? I mean, without a single exception. Like usually everybody wants to get money. Some people will get, some people won't get. Now everybody doesn't like death. Why some people don't die, some people die? Why everybody must die? Why there is no exception? Something is there here, there is a law here that we are missing. So that should be the questioning. The law is that we are actually these two separate things we are looking at, we are treating it as one, the soul and the body. Because we are treating it as one, we cannot explain this anomaly. So when we understand this, the soul and body are two different things, then we begin to understand what is actually happening. And then we understand, okay, if I am the soul, then why should I even be worried about all this body and the bodily attachments and all this? Then all this comes. So that knowledge is required like that. Contemplate, they have to contemplate these things. It's not about, let's not talk about it, don't talk about boring subjects. No, it's not a boring, you are scared of it. Let's face it, you are scared of it. You are dead scared of it. So you're not even, like, when I was a kid, when we used to say some death or something, my mother would say, don't say those words in our house, inauspicious. So much scared. Actually, one lady called recently. She wanted, I don't know what she said. She's having some health problem. She's feeling, scared or something like that. So I gave 1 hour lecture on the phone. So I said, birth, death, old age and disease, these are miserable, conditions of life. This is Swamiji, today is Friday, talks about some auspicious things. No, don't talk about inauspicious things. I said, I'm talking about auspicious thing only. That you get out of this birth, death, old age and disease. That is auspicious. You think, when I mention birth, death, old age and disease, you think already you are scared. That is already inauspicious. In fact, somebody asked me for a Bhagavad Gita reading because somebody passed away in their family. We are going to do on Zoom on Tuesday. There is one small session, half an hour. I asked her, can I do for 1 hour? No, half an hour enough. Okay, fine. So they think Bhagavad Gita reading is to be done when somebody passes away. So eventually, when they do not know, actually the reason why they do Bhagavad Gita reading is because to remind themselves, because Bhagavad Gita, especially second chapter, talks about soul and body and death and birth, and so when somebody passes away, the mind is in a bewildered condition. So to remind ourselves, so there is a Gita part. Especially in North India, this is a current. This ritual is current. So there is Gita part. So that that reminding is there. But it will come. It has come to a stage where Gita should be read only when somebody died. That means Gita reading is an inauspicious thing. If you read Gita, means, did somebody die? Why are you reading Gita? Like when somebody dies, they say Ram Naam Satya Hai. In South India, they say Govinda, Govinda. That means Govinda is like an inauspicious word. Don't say Govinda, Govinda. What is this? Somebody died or something inauspicious will happen. Or don't say Ram Naam Satya Hai. In fact, they did this experiment. They had this cigarette packet. I think it's a cigarette dispensing unit. So you put money inside. In India, they did this. And then cigarette packet will come out and audio will come out. Ram Naam Satya Hai. The guy will get scared. Ram Naam Satya Hai means the only truth is Ram's name. Everything else is untruth. But it is a warning of death for them. Ram Naam Satya Hai means he is getting scared. Everybody, there is a video, CCTV, I mean not CCTV, hidden camera. So they made video and published on the internet. Maybe if I find, I will share it. So when they put, cigarette packet came out and Ram Naam Satya Hai. Because already it is there. Smoking is injurious to health. Photo will be given sometimes. Here they will put photos. I think India there is no photo. I did not see. They have now? Okay. Some cancer photo, some fetus, dead fetus photo, something they will put, horrible things. So at least remind them. But it's still not enough. So audio also next. So then Ram Naam Satya Hai. Why you should be afraid of Ram Naam Satya Hai? You should be afraid of cigarette. But they are afraid of Ram Naam. So it became synonymous with death. Ram Naam Satya Hai means somebody died. That is not the meaning. Govinda, Govinda means it is a holy name. So instead of worrying about the body, remember Govinda, Govinda. The whole idea is this. But they forget and they treat it like this death ceremony ritual, Gita Path. When you are alive and well and everybody is fine, don't read Gita. Why are you going to temple and going to Gita? What is this one? Somebody died or what? Or you want somebody to die in your house? You don't put this picture, somebody will fight in the house. So these kind of things they do, stupid things, because they do not understand why these rituals are in place. We have to read all life, Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya, then we can prepare for death. Okay, at least if you do not prepare, okay, when somebody dies, at least you prepare. Because it's not to, of course, there is some benefit for the person who passed away, because at least the family members are doing something nice, something good, feeding the brahmanas, this is good. But more importantly, it is good for them who are there. Instead of getting attached and crying and useless, anyway the person is not going to come back with any amount of crying. And next in line, we are also going to meet the same fate. So let us prepare now. So that's the whole idea. So sorry for the long answer, but any other questions? No other questions. Okay. We'll stop here. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद।